There are few names in music that carry the weight of both brilliance and heartbreak, like Céline Dion. She wasn't born into luxury or privilege. She came from a house so small that her crib was a drawer pulled from a wooden cabinet, yet her voice would one day echo through stadiums and palaces around the world. But now, as her health declines and her family faces the unimaginable thought of life without her, what she leaves behind isn't just money or mansions. It's a lifetime built from pain, sacrifice, and love so deep it made the world cry. From a drawer to destiny. Céline Marie Claudette Dion was born on March 30th, 1968, in Charlemagne, Quebec, the youngest of 14 children in a family that sang through hunger. Her parents, Thérèse Tanguay and Adhémar Dion, were musicians who ran a small tavern called Le Vieux Baril, the Old Barrel, where the children performed to help pay bills. Music wasn't a hobby, it was survival. She grew up shy, bullied at school for her looks and thin frame, nicknamed Vampire and Canine Dion. But when she sang, everything changed. At age 12, she wrote her first song, Ce n'était qu'un rêve, with her mother and brother Jacques. Her brother Michel mailed a demo tape to a well-known producer, René Angelil, a 38-year-old manager who had guided Quebec's biggest stars. When René pressed play, he was moved to tears. He mortgaged his home to fund her first album, La Voix du Bon Dieu, released in 1981. The gamble worked. It topped the charts in Quebec and made Céline a teenage phenomenon. At age 14, she performed at the Yamaha World Popular Song Festival in Tokyo, winning a gold medal and the Top Performer Award. In 1983, she became the first Canadian to earn a gold record in France with D'amour ou d'amitié. Her childhood was filled with microphones instead of toys, rehearsals instead of dances. Her mother would later say, "All my children were gifted, but Céline was exceptionally so." She was already rehearsing the destiny that would make her one of the most successful singers of all time, and one of the loneliest. The price of stardom. By the time Céline turned 16, she was no longer a child prodigy. She was a national treasure in Quebec. Her voice was pure power, her drive unmatched. Yet, she was still just a teenager, touring from country to country with adults twice her age, singing about love before she had ever really lived it. When she saw Michael Jackson perform in the mid-1980s, she told René, "I want to be like him." René didn't laugh. He understood. He took her off stage for a year to rebuild her image, dental surgery to fix her crooked teeth, English lessons at Berlitz School in 1989, and new training to prepare her for the world stage. That year, during her incognito tour, Céline damaged her vocal cords. Doctors warned her that surgery might end her career. She refused. For 3 weeks, she lived in silence, communicating by writing on paper, retraining her voice under the guidance of renowned coach William Riley. When she returned, her tone was richer, deeper. The voice that would define her generation had been reborn through pain. In 1990, she released her first English-language album, Unison. The single, Where Does My Heart Beat Now, climbed to the U.S. top 5. 2 years later, her duet with Peabo Bryson on Disney's Beauty and the Beast earned her a Grammy and an Academy Award. It was the moment she became a global artist, not just a Quebecois phenomenon. But with success came exhaustion. Critics accused her of being too polished, too perfect, too controlled. They didn't see the girl behind the headlines, the one sleeping on planes, losing her teenage years to studio sessions, the one who missed birthdays and holidays for tours. In her memoir, she wrote, "I never had a teenage life. I remember microphones, not proms through it all. René was there, not just as her manager, but as the calm in her storm." By 1987, their friendship had quietly deepened into something more. When she turned 19, they began a secret romance, hiding it from the public to protect her career. To the world, they were the perfect artist-manager duo. To each other, they were already something far greater. In the liner notes of her 1993 album, The Color of My Love, she finally confessed what fans had long suspected. For so many years, I kept our dream locked away inside my heart, but now it's too powerful to keep inside. That love would define her forever, a bond so strong it survived fame, distance, and even death, the golden years and the love of a lifetime. On December 17th, 1994, the world watched as Céline Dion walked down the aisle of Notre Dame Basilica in Montreal, dressed in a gown with a 20-foot lace train and a 7-pound Swarovski crystal headdress. The ceremony was broadcast live across Canada, not just a wedding, but the culmination of a love story that had begun when she was 12 years old. René Angélil, her manager, mentor, and now husband, was 52. Céline was 26. Many questioned the age difference, but for her, there was no hesitation. "He was the only man who made me feel safe enough to be myself," she once said. Their marriage was more than romance. It was a partnership built on trust and sacrifice. Together, they became unstoppable. In 1996, Céline's performance of The Power of the Dream at the Atlanta Olympics elevated her to global superstardom. A year later came Titanic. When My Heart Will Go On was released in 1997, it didn't just top charts. It became an anthem for love and loss. The song won an Academy Award and 4 Grammys, selling more than 30 million copies. Her album, Let's Talk About Love, featuring duets with Barbra Streisand and Luciano Pavarotti, sold 31 million copies worldwide. But behind every standing ovation was a woman running on empty. In 1999, René discovered a lump in his neck, throat cancer. The diagnosis shattered the illusion of perfection. Céline immediately canceled everything: her tours, her appearances, even her own health routines. She said, "I want to devote every ounce of my strength to my husband's healing." For 2 years, she rarely sang. Instead, she sat in hospital corridors, held his hand through radiation treatments, and prayed. When he recovered in 2000, the couple renewed their vows in a lavish Las Vegas ceremony themed Arabian Nights. It wasn't just celebration, it was survival. That same year, they finally achieved what years of IVF treatments had promised. Céline became pregnant. On January 25, 2001, she gave birth to René Charles Angélil. "He's a miracle child," she said. "I breastfed him for a year and I'll never forget it. His eyes, his smell, his skin, that's love." By then, Céline had conquered the world. She had sold over 100 million albums, filled stadiums across continents, and earned a fortune that most could never imagine. Yet the true wealth in her eyes wasn't fame or awards. It was the fragile miracle sleeping in her arms: loss, survival, and the weight of the crown. In the early 2000s, Céline Dion seemed unstoppable. After 2 years away from the stage, she returned in 2002 with A New Day Has Come, a deeply personal album that symbolized hope and rebirth. It marked the beginning of her next chapter, one that would turn her into the highest-grossing female performer in Las Vegas history. Her residency at Caesar's Palace, which began in 2003, was meant to last 3 years. It ran for more than 700 shows and earned over $600 million. The show, titled A New Day, was a revolution in live entertainment, blending orchestras, dancers, and cinematic visuals into a spectacle never before seen on the Strip. Critics who once dismissed her as too sentimental now admitted Céline had changed what it meant to perform in Las Vegas. But even amid the glitz, her heart was still tethered to her family. "I don't need more fame," she told Rolling Stone. "I just need time with the people I love." By 2010, after enduring multiple IVF cycles and a miscarriage, Céline gave birth to twin boys, Nelson and Eddie. She named them after two men who shaped her life, Nelson Mandela and Eddie Marnay, the songwriter who had believed in her since childhood. Her life finally felt full. A devoted wife, a mother of three, and a living legend commanding the global stage. But fate was not done testing her. In 2013, Renée's cancer returned. This time, the doctors weren't optimistic. Céline suspended her shows, canceled world tours, and disappeared from the spotlight. "I am scared of losing him," she admitted. "But I have to be strong for him and for our children." She nursed him through surgeries, sleepless nights, and the quiet terror of waiting. By early 2016, Renée's condition worsened. In a heartbreaking interview, Céline revealed his final wish. He said to me, "I want to die in your arms." On January 14, 2016, he did. 2 days later, Céline's brother Daniel also passed away from cancer. Within 48 hours, she lost both the love of her life and the brother who shared her childhood songs. The funeral was held at the same Notre Dame Basilica, where she and René had once promised each other, "Until death do us part." This time, she walked down the aisle alone. Her fortune, her fame, her empire, none of it could shield her from the ache of that silence. She said later, "The hardest part wasn't losing him. It was learning how to breathe without him, illness, isolation, and the unseen battle." After Renée's passing, Céline tried to fill the void the only way she knew how, by singing. She returned to the stage in August 2015, and by 2017, she was touring the world again. Fans saw a woman smiling through the pain, but those close to her whispered that she was fading inside. Each show became both a tribute and a therapy session. "I sing for him now," she said quietly in an interview. "He's still with me in every note." But the years that followed brought a new kind of struggle, one that even her legendary resilience could not outshine. In 2019, she launched the Courage World Tour to promote her album, Courage, her first English album since Renée's death. It debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, her first U.S. chart topper in 17 years. The name of the album was no accident. It reflected exactly what she was trying to hold on to. Then came the pandemic, halting her tour and forcing her into isolation. By late 2021, reports emerged of mysterious muscle spasms. Céline's publicist described them as severe and persistent, forcing her to cancel more shows. Fans worried, but the truth was far darker than anyone realized. On December 8, 2022, Céline appeared in a 5-minute video on Instagram, her voice trembling with emotion. "Recently, I've been diagnosed with a very rare neurological disorder called stiff person syndrome," she said, fighting tears. "It affects 1 in a million people. The spasms," she explained, "made it difficult to walk and nearly impossible to sing." Her words broke hearts across the world. "All I know is singing," she said. "It's what I've done all my life. And it hurts me to admit that I can't do it the way I used to." The disease, which causes uncontrollable muscle stiffness and spasms, stripped her of the very thing that defined her: control. In 2023, she officially canceled the rest of her world tour. Her team revealed that she was focusing entirely on treatment, physiotherapy, speech therapy, and anti-inflammatory regimens in her $4.5 million Las Vegas estate, surrounded by her sons René Charles, Nelson, and Eddie. That same year, she made a brief return to acting, appearing in the romantic drama Love Again, playing herself and recording 5 original songs for the soundtrack. It was her way of saying she wasn't gone. Not yet. In 2024, she appeared at the Grammy Awards, presenting the Album of the Year trophy to Taylor Swift. Standing there, fragile but radiant, she told the audience, "When I say I'm happy to be here, I really mean it from my heart." Her voice cracked, but her strength didn't. She was still Céline, broken, yet unbowed. The tears left behind. Today, Céline Dion's world has grown quiet. The arenas that once trembled with her voice now stand in silence, while her days revolve around therapy sessions, family dinners, and moments of fragile laughter with her sons. Yet even as her body weakens, her legacy only grows stronger. Over the decades, she built not just a career, but an empire. Her estimated net worth of $800 million is one of the largest in music history, a fortune earned through decades of work, not excess. It comes from more than 250 million albums sold, from Las Vegas residencies that redefined entertainment, from perfumes, fashion lines, and real estate that spans continents, from the 72 million Bahamian-style estate on Jupiter Island to her 25.5 million chateau in Quebec and the Las Vegas home where her children now gather. But if you ask those closest to her, they'll tell you that Céline doesn't see her wealth as numbers. Each dollar represents a sacrifice, a concert performed while ill, a song recorded through heartbreak, a life lived for others. "Every bit of what I have," she once said, "came from giving all of myself." To her family, that fortune is not a trophy. It's a reminder of everything she gave up, her health, her privacy, and her peace. Her sons, now growing into young men, understand this better than anyone. René Charles, now 24, is pursuing music under the name R.C. Angelil, while the twins, Nelson and Eddie, 15, live quietly under her protection. They know that the empire their mother built is not just meant to secure their futures, but to carry her spirit long after the music stops. In private, Céline has reportedly begun planning her estate, not out of fear, but out of clarity. She wants her fortune to protect her family, her charities, and the medical causes that have touched her life. She has always said that her wealth is meant to comfort, not impress. Her foundation continues to support cystic fibrosis research, a cause close to her heart since losing her niece Corinne at 16. Her legacy also includes quiet donations to hospitals, children's charities, and disaster relief funds. She never needed headlines for generosity. She preferred silence over spectacle. And yet what moves her family most isn't the money, the houses, or the awards. It's the strength she's shown when she could have given up. Her loved ones describe moments when she still hums softly to herself, her voice trembling but alive. "If it cracks," she once said, "then it cracks. But if it works, it'll be the happiest day of my life." Céline Dion's story is one of brilliance and unbearable cost, a reminder that even the brightest stars burn at a price. Her music gave the world hope. Her life gave it meaning. And though her stage may now be quiet, her legacy will echo through generations, carried by the family who once watched her build a fortune not from greed, but from grace. Céline Dion's life is proof that success can shine and shatter all at once. Behind every standing ovation was a woman fighting for breath, for family, for love. What's the song by Céline that touched your heart the most? Tell us in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video to honor the voice that carried us all through our hardest days.